So we're continuing our more casual episode series, if you will, and as I mentioned last week, I wanted to discuss reasons why I think I'm busier than I have been possibly ever before, but certainly since 2009, which may give you a bit of a hint of what's coming. And also to give the green screen that I painted in my house a bit of a whirl to see how that works. Hello, my name is Nicholas Wansbutter. I'm a lawyer in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to Don't Talk TV. So, as you're probably getting tired of hearing me mention episode after episode, I'm extremely busy. It's getting harder and harder all the time to put out quality content on Don't Talk TV. My volunteer PR guy, Richard, he's been very busy as well. So I thought, why not talk a little bit about some of the reasons why that is? I mean, the number one reason is crime is on the rise in Canada. Why is that the case? I think that's worth talking about. So I'm going to have a little bit of a casual chat about that today. So the number one reason that really sets the current time period apart from the last couple of years is the economy. I mentioned I haven't been this busy ever or possibly since 2009. Definitely 2009 was the last time I was anywhere near as busy as this. What did 2009 and 2023 have in common? The economy is terrible. Now, in 2009, as I recall, the media was constantly talking about how bad the economy was, how terrible things were, and so people really had that sense that the economy was quite bad. Now the media tends to be downplaying things, saying things are in control, things aren't that bad, but when crime is getting as bad as it is and I'm this busy, then I think there's reason to believe that the economy is as bad as many of us think it is. And interestingly, the PPSC has essentially stopped prosecuting possession of very minor amounts of drugs. Like we're talking about a point or two of drugs. They're not prosecuting those anymore. Whereas in the past, they absolutely prosecuted them. That was a huge part of my practice, was defending people found in possession of very small amounts of drugs. I have no cases like that anymore. Now what I'm defending much more are theft of groceries, various frauds, break-and-enters, robberies, a lot of crimes of desperation. So when I see a big uptick in that, and I'm getting very busy, that tells me that the economy is bad. And generally, whenever there's been a downturn in the economy, that's when I've seen an uptick in my business. Now, why is that? I mean, poor people are not morally worse than anyone else. So it's not a situation like that where because there's more people that are impoverished, that means there's people of lower morals. Really, I mean, people are people. And in my view, people don't generally just wake up one day and think, I'm going to start being a criminal. Be it stealing, be it assaulting other people, be it drugs. Really what it comes down to a lot of the time is desperation or just being crushed by life. That's when people give in to taking drugs. That's when people end up stealing because they don't know what else to do. They have no money. They have no home. Absolutely, homelessness. There's a vast increase in homelessness I've seen. And homelessness is a huge risk factor for criminality as well. Again, not because poor people are morally inferior to others, but when you have to fight to survive, you don't even have a dry, warm place to sleep at night. It's just that much easier to get into trouble because, you know, it's easy to say don't steal when you have a full belly and a full bank account. Not so easy to adhere to that when you're poor. Now, of course, I'm not saying at all that being poor is a justification for this, for any sort of criminality, but it's a trend you see. And you hear statistics about for every point of unemployment, that results in 40 or 50,000 deaths, at least in the context of the United States. That interplay, I would suggest, goes over to criminality as well. And interesting, we're in a time period where we don't have extremely high unemployment rates. What we have is totally unaffordable cost of living, so that more and more people every day who are working full-time jobs, part-time people, just cannot survive. and that's leading to crime. That's going to lead to increased crime. And it also a factor of stress. People get into fights more, and just things get out of hand that much more easily. And people get into drugs that much more easily because they're looking for ways to escape from the situation that they're in. So, the economy is important for so many reasons. One of them is if you want a safe society, good economy is going to help with that. Now, of course, an economy is not everything. You can have a fantastic economy. We still have higher crime rates than many times in history, or countries like the one I just visited, being Poland, where there's not very much crime. That leads me into my second point, and we'll also go to my third point. The second point is morality. I've talked about this a number of times on Don't Talk TV, my view that our abandonment of that founding principle of our charter, that's our constitution, that says that Canada is founded upon the supremacy of God and the rule of law. When you don't have the supremacy of God, you don't have that unifying moral code that tells people what's right from wrong. And of course, the law courts and police are a reactive force. They're not proactive. Morality and religion is proactive. People will control themselves, stop themselves from committing crime because they know or believe that it's immoral. So as Canada and any other country descends more and more into godlessness or atheism, you're going to see crime rise because morality comes down to, will I get caught by the police versus, is this objectively right or wrong? Closely connected with that morality aspect is the cohesiveness of society. Now, this is very politically incorrect, and I'll may be accused of racism. Again, this has nothing to do with the color of people's skin, but we are taught that diversity is our strength. I'm not so sure that's the case, because when people have a common culture, a common heritage, common values, they know each other. And again, this isn't just a multiculturalism thing. This is also a modern life thing of where people are disconnected by being on the phone, being on the internet all the time, not interacting with each other, not seeing each other. But I do think there's also a key aspect of having that common value system and common culture, which you could have a common culture in a multiracial society. There are some examples of that you can see in the past, but we certainly don't have that in Canada today with the very fast increase in immigration over the last several years. And I think that the more disjointed our society becomes, again, the easier it becomes to commit crimes, or the more likely people are to commit crimes, because you don't have a moral backing. You also don't have that cultural backing to hold you back from doing things that you shouldn't. And also, you often see different tiers, different cases, and I've talked about that as well, right? You can see in many episodes of Don't Talk TV where I talk about different laws for different people, and that causes even more lawlessness, because now we're talking about the breakdown of the rule of law, and that being the second of the two founding principles upon which Canada was founded. So those are some of my thoughts on why I'm so busy. I don't think it's because of factors like people retiring, because all the other lawyers in Stratford are still working. I mean, there were a few that have retired, but they had negligible involvement in criminal law. They take a case here and there. For the most part, all the people that were criminal lawyers in Stratford still are. So I think these factors I mentioned are certainly coming into play, and they always come into play, so they're worth considering. This video, of course, is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, you can call a lawyer. Call another lawyer, myself. My contact information is below. And if you have show topics you'd like to see us cover, please leave a suggestion in the comments box or send an email to the email address listed below. And if you found this video at all interesting, helpful, or informative, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, following us on social media, subscribing on YouTube. As I've been saying for a few months now, if we get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'll regrow my handlebar mustache.